Before I start my question, I want to say this to the Taoiseach. He's espoused and said that his government is leading a democratic revolution. But I have to say this, that I regard as absolutely undemocratic that he should have excluded representatives of the technical group from the briefing which he gave to other members of the House earlier this afternoon. He has chosen to exclude a third of the opposition, and I certainly hope it will never happen again. My question, Ceann Comhairle, is in relation to the crisis in the health service. And your government has cut over €3 billion and 12,500 staff from the health services over the last number of years. This year, in 2014, a minimum of 619 million and another 2,600 staff will be cut. The effect of this is having a catastrophic effect on our services, and the resultant crisis is being played out at local level all over this country. South Tipperary General Hospital is a prime example, Taoiseach. It has suffered a loss of over 20% of its budget, or €11 million over the last number of years, and over 100 staff. At the same time, hospital activity and patient numbers have increased significantly, and the hospital is operating on a daily, ongoing basis at 120% capacity. The numbers of patients waiting on trolleys and chairs in the emergency department of the hospital is absolutely unacceptable and is reminiscent of third world conditions. And indeed, Taoiseach, since your government came to power, this democratic revolution government that you spoke of, trolleys and chairs have increased from 750 in 2011 to 3,100 in 2013. And over the last weekend, we had patients waiting for days for admission. 19 patients still there on Monday. One gentleman was there since the previous Wednesday, another lady since the Friday evening.
Question, please. Thank you.
Now, Taoiseach, this is an ongoing situation, and it is third world conditions. And the staff simply cannot deal with the numbers, and they're struggling to provide a decent and safe service. And my question, Taoiseach, is, will you apologise to patients and to their families for the conditions that they've been forced to endure at the emergency department? And will you immediately instruct the HSE to implement the proposal from the hospital and the HSE South East to open additional beds at Our Lady's Cashel, step-down beds, to open additional beds in South Tipperary General Hospital and provide additional staff in the emergency department?
Thank you. Taoiseach.
Well, it's a good second stage speech, but I suggest, Deputy Healy, that in the list of things you've mentioned there, that you put questions directly to the Minister for Health in respect of the specifics. Yes, I'll certainly convey to the Minister for Health the issues that you've mentioned. But you gave a long list there now of 10 or 15 issues that I can't recall them all in sequence. But you can. Deputy, please. And when there was 16 billion being spent on the health system, there were nearly 600 people on trolleys in one day. I'd remind you that despite the reductions in allocations for the health service, that the frontline services have been maintained at the very highest level. And we always pay tribute to those people who work in those frontline services. And I disagree with you for saying that the people who provide service down in your country are operating a third level, a third world service. They work very long hours at the front line of service, as you're well aware, Deputy Healy, and you should recognise that for them. What the government want to do here is to change the structure from one of a two-tier system that is inequitable, that is too costly, that is inefficient, that discriminates against people who don't have money in their back pocket, and that denies access to medical attention for people who need it, and who don't have the facility from a money point of view to buy private health insurance. So what we want to move to is a single-tier insurance where everybody can have the same level of treatment in terms of the treatment that they need, and that's the concept of universal health insurance. Obviously, part of that is the structure of primary care centres and continued provision of sufficient allocations for frontline services to be delivered to people. I'll take the points that you have raised, and I'll see that the Minister for Health responds to you. But it's not a case here of going around the country apologising outside every hospital that you see. It is a case of serious changes being made with hospital groups in different localities around the country, with a better range of expertise and consultancy available to them, and therefore to provide a better service for everybody in each of those localities. That's the intention here. It's not always easy to do it overnight, as you're well aware.
Taoiseach, the policies of your government and the cuts that you've introduced in the health services have quadrupled the number of trolleys and chairs in the emergency department at South Tipperary General Hospital, from 750 the year you came into office to 3,100 at the end of 2013. Now, Taoiseach, I invite you to visit South Tipperary General Hospital, to see that hospital, an absolutely excellent hospital with excellent staff who are at their wits' end because of the cuts that you and your government have introduced. And I want to say this to you, if only from a point of view of human decency, I think you should take action to solve this problem. And in fact, there is no excuse not to deal with this problem, because the money is available. And if you look at Appendix 1 of the HSE National Service Plan, Taoiseach, €30 million has been set aside. And it says, and I'm quoting, it says, to target additional capacity and capability in areas within acute services which continue to experience increased service demand, particularly in the areas of access across emergency departments. So the money is available, Taoiseach.
Please,
absolutely available. It is your duty to make sure that people have a decent and a quality health service. And I'm asking you again to visit the hospital and to ensure and instruct the HSE to implement additional beds at Our Lady's Cashel, additional beds at South Tipperary General Hospital, and additional staff at consultant, nursing, medical and support staff in the emergency department. Because your policies and the policies of your government has created a crisis in that department. Thank you.
Well, you first of all mentioned that South Tipperary was an excellent hospital, that it has excellent staff, and you repeated 3 times, I think, in your earlier contribution that this was a third world facility. You said it was a third world facility.
Deputy, would you mind,
and now you
please?
tell me they've got excellent staff, an excellent hospital, which I agree with you. But these are not third world facilities, Deputy Healy. I'd remind you that there have been, despite the fact that there's been over $3 billion of a reduction since 2008,
Deputy, please,
you've had $3.2 million to deal with particular elements of patient safety, be they the cochlear implants, almost $2 million for patient-centred improvements in maternity care, an extra $8.3 million for the cancer care services, 2.9 for organ donation, and 35 million extra for 60,000 medical cards. So you come in here to the Dáil and you tell the people of South Tipperary that they live in third world facilities, and you tell me in your second question that they have excellent facilities and excellent staff. Get your facts right before you come in and make the next case, Deputy Healy.
That completes leaders' questions for today. Thank you.